So this is our Excel sheet, right? Just to save time, it has been prepared. So this is a good craft example, and let me enlarge it. Right. And we have three products: product 1, product 2, and product 3. So this is the position for the decision variable. Cell C3 denotes P1, right? Cell D3 denotes P2, cell E3 denotes P3. And the objective functions coefficients are, this is actually 5000. So let me correct it. So this is actually 5000. Right? This is 5000, right? And then we have 2000 for the second product and 2500 for the third product, right? And for machine 1, the coefficients are 935. For machine 2, we have coefficients as 5, 4, and 0. For machine 3, the coefficients, input output coefficients are 3, 0, and 2. And for the demand, 1 for product 3 and 0, 0 for product 2, right? All are having sign less than or equals to. Here all constraints are having sign, and these are the corresponding amount: 500 for machine 1, 350 for machine 2, 150 for machine 3, and the demand, that is the 20, right? And now we will formulate the formula, right? As we have discussed, we will use some product formula. So we will have some product. We would select the products, right? Make it fix using function F4. So we use function F4 to make it fix. Right? Then we select the first coefficient, that is the objective function coefficient. We would get it entered and check the formula using function F2. So this formula is being correctly employed. Right? This is the full of the formula, and we will copy this formula, and we would copy this formula, right? And copy this formula, and we can check the last formula again. So this is the formula, right? It has been corrected. Now we are going to use solver. So we go to the data part, right? And we press solver. So this is the solver, right? And here we can select objective function. So here the blue cell is our objective function. So this is F4. F4 is our objective function, just to make it clear. And then we have problem is maximization problem, because we have to maximize the profit. So here optimization is actually maximization. Then we have change cells. So we will select this highlighted cells, means C3 to E3. C3 to E3 are our decision variable. Then we go to the constraint part. That means we add constraints. Okay. Then again we go to add constraint part, right? So this is the add constraint thing. Okay. And here the cell reference, since all constraints are having same sign, so we can select all the changing cells, means sorry, all the functions, means starting from from E5 to F5, sorry, from F5 to F8, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the sign is less than or equals to, that is the sign. And for constraint, we can select the corresponding amount, means the condition is F5 to F8, and the constraint amount is from H5 to H8, means F5 is less than or equals to H5, F6 is less than or equals to H6, and so on. And finally, F8 is less than or equals to H8. So this is the only set of constraint that has been entered. So this is the solver. We are getting a solver. Here we would ensure that this box must be checked. Make unconstrained variable non-negative, and the method is simplex LP. So we have simplex LP, right? And in the options, we are not showing option in this time. So we are not having the option for uh, iterations, fine. So we will press solve. So as you check, it has been written that solver found a solution. Solver has found a solution, right? All constraint and optimality conditions are satisfied. We would save answer report and sensitivity report for the discussion purpose. So this is our solution. You can check the recommended optimum solution is, since we are allowing non-integer decision variables as per the assumption, so it has recommended that 26.19 unit of product 1 is to be produced, 54.76 units of product 2 is being produced, and 20 units of product 3 is being produced. And by this optimum production policy, the maximum profit possible is 2,90,476. This is the maximum possible profit. Related to the constraint, for the first constraint, machine 1 has 500 hours available and it has been completely utilized. In the same manner, the machine 2 is having 350 hours and 350 has been fully utilized. But for the machine 3, 150 hours are available, but the utilization is only for 118.571. So some machine 3 time is being left out. And related to the demand, it is exactly 20 because it is the condition. So this is our solution. And if we have answer report, so let me show you the answer report also. So this is our answer report. Here, the values for product 1 is 26.19. It has been discussed. Value for the product 2 is 54.76 and value for the product 3 is 20. And the corresponding maximum profit is 2,90,476. And related to the constraint that we have discussed, that here for the machine 1, the condition become binding because the slack is 0. All the machine 1 time has been utilized. For machine 2, the utilized time is 350. This condition again become binding because the slack becomes 0. For machine 3, the time available was 150 and the time utilized was 118.557. So the time that is left is 31.428, means 31.43 hours, right? So this condition is not binding. And for the fourth constant demand, the boundary condition is 20 and it has just reached. So again, the slack would be 0, right? So this is the optimum solution. Now we are going to discuss the sensitivity report also. So this is our sensitivity report that gives us a number of answers that we have discussed in that slide. So we would discuss the sensitivity report. Right? First, we would discuss the sensitivity report related to the objective function. Here the solution is, the recommended solution is the company, Goodcraft company should produce 26.19 unit of product 1. Right? This policy is being recommended under the condition that it is giving a profit of 5,000 rupees per product. Obviously, the business condition is not stationary, or the environmental condition is not stationary. They are dynamic in nature. So it is expected that the profit may increase or profit may decrease. Means objective function coefficient, that is the C1, can increase or decrease also. So we would try to discuss the range, right? This range is known as insensitive range or the allowable range, where our current solution remain applicable, right? So if the values remain in this range, then we can say that our solutions become insensitive. and there is no need of solving our problem again. But if it crosses that range, so that is known as sensitive solution, where the allowable range has been crossed. So for that purpose, these three things are important. One is objective function coefficient, then we have allowable increase, then we have allowable decrease. So for product 1, allowable increase is 125, and for product 1, allowable decrease is 2500, right? And obviously increase is always added and decrease is always subtracted. So we will keep in mind, and we will discuss the allowable range or insensitive range for the product 1 or the product 1 profit, means for 5000. So I am sharing the whiteboard so to have a better discussion. Okay, right? So just I'm writing it again. We are discussing sensitivity report or post-optimum analysis. We are discussing sensitivity report. And we are discussing product 1. Here, the value that has been produced that has been recommended. The optimum value is 26.19. Right? Objective function coefficient, that is C1, right? That is CJ, right? And for this, objective function coefficient was 5000 because 1 unit of product 1 is giving a profit of 5000. And then we have allowable increase. Allowable increase is 125 and allowable decrease is 2500. Okay, so since this increase has been allowed, so we would add 125 to 5000, and we are getting 1250. And in the same manner, allowable decrease has been subtracted, so we are having a value of 2500. So for product 1, this range become 2500 to 1250. So this range is known as allowable range or insensitive range. This is the allowable range or insensitive range. For P1, objective function coefficient, means for profit of P1. So we can explain this as, means as long as profit from the product 1 remains in the range 2500 to 5125, the current solution remain optimum. Means this means current solution remains optimum in this range. Right? So that's why this is known as allowable range or insensitive range, because the current solution for P1 remain optimum in this solution. Means we can say that as long as profit from the product 1 remains in between 2500 to 1525, we continue producing 26.19 unit for the product 1. So this is the allowable range for the product 1, where our solutions remains constant. So side by side, we are discussing about the estimation also. So suppose it has been estimated that the profit from the product 1 is 5000, right? But the actual profit, it is a wrong estimation, suppose. But the actual profit is suppose 5100. Then again, the profit doesn't change, right? But if the actual profit is beyond 5,125, then the solution may get changed. So it will give us some idea about the care that should be taken with the estimation of that parameter. In the same manner, suppose the profit had been estimated as 5,000, but the actual profit is 4,000, right? It is a wrong estimation. But even with the 4,000, if we take the actual profit, the current solution will remain optimum. Means the recommended solution is that 26.19 units are to be produced for product one. So this will give us an idea about the care or the precaution that are taken for the estimation purpose. So insensitive range or allowable range gives us two things. Number one, the care that should be taken, care or the precaution that should be taken with the estimation, and the second, the impact of the future changes. Suppose with the change of the business condition, the profit of the table, profit for the product has decreased from 5,000 to 4,500. So obviously the question arises, should we continue with this production policy or we should change the production policy? So 4,500 lies in this allowable range. So we can say for 4,500, for uh, uh, profit of 4,500 for product one, we will continue with this product. For product one, we should continue with this production because it lies in the insensitive range. But suppose the profit for the product one goes below 2,500. Suppose the new profit is 2,200 for the product one. Then it goes beyond the allowable range. It is not in the allowable range. So our solution becomes sensitive. Solution becomes sensitive. Solution become sensitive. Means we have to solve the problem again. You can check it also. We have to solve the problem again. But this is not the case if our solution remain in this way. In the same manner, the profit for the product one has increased from 5,000 to 5,100. Then the recommended solution is continue producing 26.19 units. But if the profit from the product one goes beyond this range, means beyond uh, uh, 5,125, suppose the profit is 5,500, then our production may change. So we have to solve the problem again. So this is for product one. In the same manner, we can have for product two also. So the recommended solution is 54.76 unit and the objective function coefficient was 2000. Allowable range, allowable increase was 2000 and allowable decrease was 100. Okay, so if we incorporate these changes, so this is allowable increase and this is the allowable decrease. And this is the allowable increase. So by adding these values, we can have 2000 can be added. So we will have 4,000 and 100 should be subtracted because it is allowable decrease. So the value is 1,900. So for product two, the allowable or insensitive range for C2 is 1,900 to 4,000. Means if the profit for the product two remains in the range 1,900, 1,900 to 4,000, we will continue with the current production policy. Means we will continue producing 54.76 unit for the product two. So these are the discussion for the individual changes. Now we are going to discuss the simultaneous changes. And it has, as it has been mentioned, that we will discuss the simultaneous changes also. So we will have a space for the simultaneous changes. Suppose we are considering the simultaneous change. For product 1, the profit, the current profit was 5,000. It has increased to 5,000. Suppose it has decreased to, we will have one positive and one negative value. So it has been decreased to 4750. So there is a decrease of 250 for product 1. And for product 2, the current profit is 2,000, and this profit has been increased to 2,200. So for product 2, there is an increase. In first case, there is a decrease, and for product 2, there is an increase of 200. Right? So since simultaneous changes are there, so for that we have to use a rule that is known as 100% rule for simultaneous changes. This rule tells us that if the sum of percentage changes, means whether they are increasing or decreasing. If the sum of percentage changes is less than or equals to 100%, then current solution remains applicable. Otherwise, we have to solve the problem. Solve the model again. So we would check whether this has been there or not. Means we would try to impose this condition. So here we would try to calculate 100% changes. Okay. Here for product 1, right? For product 1, there is a decrease, and this decrease is of 250. Right? So the percentage change would be 250. The rule is the sum of percentage changes with respect to allowable, change, right? So the change is 250 and the allowable change for the decrease is 2,500, right? So let me mark it by some different thing. So here decrease, this is a decrease case, right? Here the decrease is 250 and the allowable decrease for the product 1 is 2,500, right? So here we have 250 divided by 2,500, right? And we will calculate the percentage change. So obviously the percentage change comes out to be 10%. So this is for P1. Now we would consider P2. For P2, there is an increase. There is an increase, and this increase is of 200, right? And now we will consider the allowable increase also. So here there is an increase is of 200, and allowable increase for product 2 is, this is the allowable increase for the product 2, that is 2,000. So the corresponding percentage change would be 200 divided by 2,000, right? So again, the value comes out to be 10%. So the sum, the sum is 10% plus 10% is 20%. Right? So we can say that the percentage change for simultaneous variation, with respect to allowable range is 10% plus 10%, that is 20%, and this 20% is less than 100%. So we can say that the current production policy should be followed. So in this case, our recommendation is current production policy for P1 and P2 should be followed. Okay, so this is related to the two part. One is the individual changes in the objective function. The second one is that the simultaneous changes in the objective function. Right. Now, let me share a board again. So we have discussed these 2 points, right? We have discussed the changes in the objective function. Now we will discuss these 2 points, right? And here we have a concept of the shadow price and the 100% also. So I am showing you our solution so that here when we consider the sensitivity report, here we have shadow price also, right? We have shadow price for machine 1, shadow price for machine 2, and we have 0 shadow price for machine 3. So it is very important because if we have slack 0, then only there will be a shadow price. And if we have some slack, then there won't be a shadow price. Since here uh, we are having slack as 0, so we are having the shadow price, right? Here slacks are 0. So here the shadow price for machine 1 is 476.19, and for machine 2 the shadow price is 142. So the concept of the shadow price is shadow price gives us the rate of change in the objective function when the unit change is imposed in the right hand side of that constraint. So here machine 1 time has been fully utilized. So if we are able to get one more R for the machine 1, so if we get one more R for the machine 2, then our total profit would increase by the amount 476.19, right? And this shadow price remains applicable in the allowable range. So this will remain applicable up to an increase of 55. In the same manner, if our machine time for the machine 1 has been decreased from 500 to 499, means there's a decrease of 1. So the shadow price works in that manner also. So in that situation, our total profit would decrease by 476.19 rupees, right? And it will remain applicable up to the allowable decrease only. Means this decrease up to this limit 137. Beyond that, we have to solve the problem again. The shadow price remain not applicable. In the same manner for machine 2, the shadow price is 142, right? Means if we get 1 hour extra for machine 2, then our total profit would increase by 142.857 rupees, right? In the same manner, if we get 10 hours extra for machine 2, then our profit would increase by 142.85 into 10, right? And it will remain applicable in the allowable range, means allowable increase and allowable decrease. For machine 2, the shadow price is 0. It is logical because if we get 1 hour extra since we are already having 31 point some 31.42 hours remaining for machine 3. So even if we have one more hour for machine 3, then that is of no use, means our profit won't increase. So shadow price would be there if our constraint reaches the boundary condition, means slacks or surplus become 0, right? And for the machine 3, the shadow price would be 0, right? So here this is the concept of the shadow price. So if you have to decide that you can hire only one machine, is machine 1, machine 2, machine 3. So which machine is to be preferred? So obviously we go for the machine 1 because it is giving us the highest profit. So this is the concept of the shadow price, because it is giving a per unit profit of 476. Machine 2 is giving a profit of 142, right? So if we have to hire only one machine, then the machine 1 should be preferred. The second question that can be discussed is, since machine 1 is giving an additional profit of 476.19 only, suppose some other manufacturer is ready to give you access to his machine 1, right? So that you can improve your production, and that manufacturer is demanding an amount of 500 rupees. Are you ready to give? Obviously, the answer is no, because here the profit from 1 hour extra from machine 1 is only 476, but that is demanding an amount of 500. So that is of no use, right? So the maximum price that we are ready to give for machine 1 is only 476. So obviously we would give less than 476.19 for machine 1. In the same manner for machine 2 and so on. And this is for the individual discussion. Suppose you want to consider the simultaneous examination for the shadow price, then obviously we have to calculate the 100% rule that we have calculated in the earlier portion, right? And accordingly, we can discuss whether the shadow price is applicable in that range or not, right? So this is for the allowable range. So this is all about the LPP and the optimization using two concepts. One is the graphical method and other is the Excel solver option, right? So, I will share a number of cases that you can practice. So to have answer report and sensitivity report, and you can discuss the solutions also. Thank you.